Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you, Premier Ford and Minister Sarkaria, for the province's multi-billion-dollar investment in the Ontario line. And thank you to the federal government for your contribution. And we have here Minister Evan Solomon and MP Chin Nguyen. I am also joined here with the local councillor and Deputy Mayor, Osma Malik. It's great to be here with all of you. This partnership is what makes projects like this possible. For the first time in more than 60 years, we are tunneling a subway through the heart of this city. This is a historic moment for Toronto. When the Ontario line is complete, nearly 230,000 Torontonians will live within walking distance of rapid transit. A trip from Pape and Danforth to Queen and University, 25 minutes today, will only take 12. That's the kind of change that transforms how a city moves. King West, Chinatown, Distillery District, Leslieville. These new station names tell you exactly who this line is for. Every neighborhood along this route will be better connected with faster access to jobs, schools, and opportunity. This subway line will run from here all the way to Kennedy, to Eglinton Crosstown LRT, and imagine what could come next. An 18-kilometer rapid transit line connecting communities right through the heart of Scarborough. Transit that is fast, reliable, and affordable, that is what every Torontonian deserves. Which is why the city has frozen TTC fares for 3 consecutive years, and later this year, frequent riders ride free after 47 trips a month. I want to recognize the workers, the engineers, the planners for building this. Thank you. Days like today remind us what is possible when the federal and the provincial government come together and invest in this city. And we are extremely grateful. Today, the tunneling begins. And this city's future looks faster, more connected, and full of possibility. Thank you so much. And we will now hear from Minister and Toronto Centre Member of Parliament, Evan Solomon.
Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you for coming all the way from Ottawa.
Thanks, Mayor Chow. Good morning, everybody. What a pleasure to be back home here. Premier Ford, great to be with you. Minister Sarkaria, Deputy Mayor here, great to see you, and the fellow ministers. My colleague, Chin Nguyen, who's here, fantastic. This is a great day. It's a really great day. Today's about building. That's what we've got to do now. This is the moment to build. Today is about building infrastructure that this city needs to grow, building the connections that people rely on every day, and building the future of Toronto in a way that is practical, pragmatic, ambitious, and let's face it, long overdue. Parce qu'au fond, c'est ça bâtir un pays, des projets concrets, des résultats visibles, une ville plus forte pour tout le monde. When people talk about nation building, a lot of times it sounds abstract, but it actually looks like today. It looks like transit lines actually being built. It looks like tunnels that are actually being dug. It looks like great men and women, the workers who are on site doing the real work in good paying jobs. It looks like real progress people can see with their own eyes, because that matters. People have got to see things getting built. Public transit's not just about getting people A to B, and anyone who lives in Toronto knows that's tricky. It's about time, precious time. It's about affordability. It's about productivity, and it's about the quality of life. And it's about whether a parent gets home early to tutor their kid or take them to hockey practice, or a student can get to class more easily, or a worker can access more jobs, whether a city can grow without grinding to a halt. And this is why this project is so critical. The Ontario line will connect communities. It's going to reduce congestion, cut commute times, as the mayor talked about, and support a cleaner, more efficient city. And today's start of tunneling on the underground portion of the line is a major step forward. It's one of those moments when a project moves from promise to proof. On peut le sentir, le projet avance, il prend forme, et il devient réel. With major construction already underway, which is awesome, it's another clear sign that this project's not just a plan on paper, it's actually happening. The federal government, and I'll speak on behalf of the Minister of Transport, the Minister of, the Prime Minister, Mark Carney, who wants to build, and build the right way. This is a part of that progress. Since 2021, the federal government is investing $10 billion towards the 4 major transit projects in the GTA. This one, the Ontario Line, the Scarborough Extension, the Eglinton Crosstown West Extension, and the Yonge North Subway Extension, all part of $28 billion investing in public transit. But this project, the $4 billion in the Ontario Line, is part of this largest public transit investment the federal government has ever made in the GTA, and we are very happy to partner with the leaders in the GTA and with the Premier. It's a major investment in Toronto's future, supporting 4,700 jobs annually just in construction alone. And this will have almost 400,000 daily boardings, which is fantastic, reducing the travel time, from 40 minutes from Thorncliffe Park to downtown to about 25 minutes, which is material. Connecting people to jobs, housing, reducing the burden of transportation costs, reducing traffic gridlock, and creating good jobs for engineers, skilled trades, and operators to maintain and keep this running for decades to come. And that is the ripple effect, the multiplier effect of infrastructure investment done right. That's why the partnership between the city and the province and the federal government is so incredible. Because when governments work together, we build together and we build fast. In Ontario, the federal government's committed to working with the Premier and the province to advance major transit projects across the Greater Toronto and Hamilton area, because when the region grows, the future grows. We need the infrastructure that matches the massive ambition this city needs and the people who live here need. It's the greatest country in the world, one of the great cities of the world, but we need to build it and grow. It needs transit to reflect that ambition. So today is a moment we're celebrating. It's a sign of something bigger, that we're building the infrastructure for the city, for the province, and for the country. We're genuinely investing in communities together, and we're going to get things done. We're going to build. We're going to move quickly. We're going to invest in people's lives. We're going to invest in each other. We're going to, as I say, build in Canada, buy in Canada, and believe in Canada, because this is the greatest country in the world. We're in a tariff war. That will not stop us, because when we invest here, we invest in each other. That's how we build a Toronto strong for every single citizen who lives here and for every Canadian. That's a strong city, a strong province, and a strong country. Merci, c'est un grand plaisir. Merci. Sure. Now, Minister Sarkaria.
Thank you very much, and good morning, everyone. And thank you to Minister Solomon for the kind introduction. And of course, always great to work with our federal counterparts to deliver on one of the largest public expansions of public transit in not only Canadian history, but North American history. It's also great to be here with Premier Ford, who's been a visionary and a leader for public transit in the city of Toronto and across the province, and also with Mayor Chow, who've had a great opportunity to work with, and my colleague, Minister McCarthy, who is leading on an interim basis the infrastructure file, and has been a pleasure to work with. I also want to take an opportunity to acknowledge the team from Metrolinx, Michael Lindsay, the CEO, who is here with us today, our chair, Nick Simone, both of whom have been so incredible getting this project to where it is today, but also every other one of our projects. So I thank them for their tireless work every single day. And we're here today to mark a major milestone in what is the largest subway expansion, not only in Canadian history, but North American history. Our government is on a mission to get transit built for the people who need it the most, to fight gridlock and to get people and goods moving. And we're doing it while we're supporting thousands of good paying jobs for the workers of Ontario. In Toronto, we opened the Eglinton Crosstown LRT. This brought fast, reliable transit to tens of thousands of more people every single day. Line 5 serves 123,000 riders each weekday across 25 stations and stops. And it has cut travel times from Kennedy Station to Mount Dennis by an hour. That's an hour back in your day, every single day, 7 hours back in your week. It's incredible the change it's having with the residents and individuals across the city. We also opened the Finch West LRT. This puts rapid transit within the walking distance of over 230,000 more residents in North Toronto. And we're taking the next step with the Ontario line. Work is happening right across the line. We recently broke ground on the elevated guideway, a 3-kilometer stretch of track that will connect Don Valley, Flemington Park, and Thorncliffe Park stations, where ground has also now been broken. The province also broke ground at Cosburn Station, which will connect riders across the city to Toronto's Pape Village neighborhood for the first time and cut commute times for tens of thousands of people. Step by step, we are building a faster, more connected transit network for Toronto and the entire region. And all of this is a part of our plan to reduce gridlock, cut travel times, and drive economic growth. With that said, I'll now turn it over to Premier Ford. Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Minister Sarkaria, for that introduction. I'm delighted to be here alongside Minister McCarthy. You're doing a great job handling 2 portfolios and just keep going, my friend. And Minister Sullivan, you know, the minister and I were chatting on the way in, and we were saying, isn't it great that we have 3 levels of government working together? That's what we need to do all the time. And MP Chow, I appreciate you coming, Mayor Chow and Deputy Mayor Malik, as well as Michael Lindsay, CEO of Metrolinx, and Nick Simone, Chair of Metrolinx. You know, folks, we are so lucky to have these 2 gentlemen on Team Ontario running Metrolinx. Top-notch leaders and leaders from across Toronto's incredible business community as well are here. As President Trump's tariffs take direct aim at Canadian businesses and workers, we can't afford to be complacent, and we can't accept the status quo. We can't control President Trump, but we can control the choices we make here in Ontario, Toronto, and with the federal government by building the most competitive, resilient, and self-reliant economy in the G7 so we can stand up to tariffs, economic uncertainty, and anything else that comes our way. We're cutting red tape, keeping taxes and fees low, saving businesses and families $12 billion each and every single year, and investing in our workers through our $236 billion plan to build, which is the largest infrastructure plan in Canadian history. We're building hospitals, schools, highways, bridges, and transit to connect communities, create jobs, and grow our economy. Because with a strong economy, we can invest even more in world-class services like healthcare and education. I always say, folks, the foundation of our infrastructure, our healthcare, and our education system is one thing. It's our economy. And that's what we have to focus on. That Ontario families are counting on. We all know gridlock is costing our province more than $56 billion each year and could reach $145 billion in the next 20 years. If we don't act now, too many people are wasting hours stuck in traffic every single day when they could be spending time with friends, family, or doing what they love. That's why we're moving forward with major new projects like Highway 413, the Bradford Bypass, and the 401 Tunnel. It's also why we invested $73 million to speed up construction on the Gardiner Expressway, leading to its completion 15 months ahead of schedule. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Minister. That was a brilliant idea. As part of the largest expansion of public transit in North America, we're building the Eglinton Crosstown West Extension, the Scarborough Subway Extension, the Yonge North Subway Extension, the Waterfront East Transit Line. That's a new one, so thanks with a partnership with the federal government on that and the city. The Hazel McCallion Line in Peel, the Hamilton LRT, and of course, the Ontario Line. That's unbelievable, really. Like nowhere in North America are they even coming close to doing what we're doing here, which is a game changer. Yeah, no, that's great. It's a game changer for transit here in Toronto and around the GTA. People are already riding the Finch West LRT and the Eglinton Crosstown. And through our one fare, we're saving commuters $1,600 per year. Our government is also providing record support for the City of Toronto, including nearly $1 billion for 55 new Line 2 subway cars, which will be built right here in Ontario by Ontario workers at Alstom and Thunder Bay. You know, when we go travel, and I know Vic Fideli travels around the world, we came back from Texas. There's no place anywhere in the world that does everything that we do here in Ontario, no matter if it's building trains or building planes or automobiles or mining or largest, nuclear facilities in the world. AI is the way to go, and tech, and thank you for your leadership, Minister, and we're going full steam ahead. And I had one customer, I look at them as customers actually. When I went down to Texas, I had one company say, there's no better place to invest when it comes to tech and AI than right here in Toronto, GTA, Ottawa as well, Waterloo. So we're just a powerhouse when it comes to that. And as we build, folks, our Buy Ontario rules mean that we will be using Ontario steel, lumber, machinery, and anything else we can so Ontario tax dollars support Ontario workers. As part of our plan to build, today I'm thrilled to be at the site of the future Ontario line at Exhibition Station as we mark another important milestone with the official start of tunneling on the downtown segment of the Ontario line, which will be the first subway tunnels dug under the downtown core, think of this, in over 60 years. Right now, 2 tunnel boring machines are about to begin digging twin tunnels, which will run 6 kilometers from the launch shaft near Exhibition Station to just west of Lower Don River. The full Ontario line will run 15.6 kilometers, adding 15 new subway stations, creating 4,700 good-paying jobs during construction every year, and putting nearly 230,000 more people within walking distance of fast, reliable transit. You know, I was thinking, Michael, the other day, there can't be a tougher dig than going underneath the city, going underneath foundations of buildings, going underneath other subway stations. The engineering that we do here is second to none. It's just fascinating. The Ontario line will cut transit times across the city by more than half, from the 70 minutes it would take today to less than 30 minutes, while providing riders with more than 40 connections, including 2 of the TTC Line 1 and Line 2, the Eglinton Crosstown, and 3 GO Transit rail lines. It's great to be here today to celebrate this incredible milestone as we continue building this transformational project. I want to thank all the partners, all the stakeholders, our colleagues federally and municipally. Folks, nothing can stop us in the world. We're going to keep moving, and I always say, never look backwards, never look sideways. Just keep moving forward, keep moving that ball down the field as Ontario does. I appreciate it. Thank you, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you.
We will now take questions from the media. Media present can line up behind me and ask their questions through the microphone. As a friendly reminder, the format is one question and one follow-up. Please state your name and your outlet before your question. First question.
Mark McAllister from City News. Actually, a question for Mr. Lindsay, if you wouldn't mind approaching the microphone. The last time we had heard from you about a completion date on the Ontario line, you had said early 2030s. You're marking this as a milestone that's on time. Is that going to change anything, and can we expect this project to be on time?
Good morning, everybody. I'm delighted to confirm that the answer is the same one I gave you in Davisville, early 2030s. But what Minister Solomon said, I just want to come back to it for a moment, right? Even the start of tunneling operations on the Ontario line does not mark the start of major construction progress on this project. Underground stations along the entirety of the downtown that our partners at OTG have done such a great job of excavating, and now they are furnishing, whether it's the northern stations and the ground that we've broken on that, the major structures that are starting to cross the dawn, the civil infrastructure component of this project is hitting its milestones. And for what it's worth, I would encourage everybody, when you leave here today, to take the pedestrian bridge that has been built to get you to Exhibition Go Station. Look down into the scale of the work that is being done. We moved this event inside today. We are still no more than 25 meters away from where tunneling will actually happen. It's happening next to an existing rail corridor that has to keep providing service. The complexity of this job is tremendous. And I'm proud to say that we're still hitting all our civil infrastructure milestones.
Next question for the Premier, if possible. Premier, you've got an emergency situation that's been declared in the middle of this province in the Minden area with all kinds of flooding taking place. You're currently advertising the Ontario Corps as a volunteer organization to help with emergency situations, yet we haven't heard anything about the Ontario Corps moving in to help out.
Well, we always wait for requests to come through, and I'm sure Minister Jill Dunlop is all over this. We have an amazing amount of volunteers, literally thousands of people ready to be activated at any given time, and I'm sure she'll be talking to me today about the actions that they're taking. And there's flooding happening, I hear, up in Bracebridge. There's flooding happening all over, but we'll be there to support the communities.
Premier, if I may, a political question for you. Former federal industry minister Navdeep Bains, who you worked closely with Vic Fideli during the pandemic when he was serving in Prime Minister Trudeau's government, is talking about running for, or is considering running for, the Ontario Liberal leadership. Just wonder what thoughts you have about that.
Well, my thoughts are focusing on Ontario, making sure that we create more jobs, building transit, infrastructure. That's up to them. I'm just focused on Ontario 100%.
You don't think that he'd be a pretty formidable opponent, given that you've said before, I think, that he was a champion when you're working with them.
Everyone's are champions, but I'm focused on Ontario. I'm focused on making sure that we create more jobs and drive economic development. I'll let them decide who's going to be running, and we'll go from there when that happens.
Premier, I just wanted to follow up on Benz's question about Bains. He has a great name recognition. Don't you think that he would be a tougher challenger in the next election?
Oh, you guys are hilarious. No, I don't care who runs. You could run Mickey Mouse against me, Donald Duck. I don't care. I'm focusing on Ontario. I'm focusing on creating jobs and economic development, building the largest transit system in North America. That's what I'm focused on. They can focus on whatever they need to do, and good luck to them.
But there are some polls circling around showing that the PCs are losing some popularity among voters. Don't you think that if Bains become the leader of the Liberals, that will make things harder for the PC party in any ways?
Well, last time, I always say the only poll that counts is on election day. Polls are for dogs. But the last time I checked our polling, we'd end up with another majority if the election was happened today for the fourth majority. That's never been done in the history of this province. But I don't care. Things change. You know, you're up one day, you're down the next. The only time it counts is on election day. That's what I'm focused on. I'm not worried about that.
Hello, Premier. It seems that your MPP, Michael Tibolo, has lied on his resume with the university he went to. Do you think that's acceptable, and should there be any consequences for Michael Tibolo?
No, I understand on some website it had the wrong name, but on LinkedIn and everything else, it had the right name, and Southern California is very similar. So he's fixed it, and we're moving forward.
And there's been a couple close calls in the last couple of months with Go Transit and the Up Express. Metrolinx has caught it in time, but the consultants they hired, not so much. I know you've lamented the Trudeau government's use of McKinsey consultants before. Do you think Metrolinx uses too many consultants?
Well, I'll leave that up to Michael Lindsay. I'll tell you one thing about Michael. This guy is a champion. He's the best operator that I've ever met in North America. He's doing an incredible job. And the good thing is that we did catch it. You know, you're running a transit line, one of the largest in North America. There's going to be bleeps, but it's how quickly you react, and he reacted immediately.
I'm sure if Michael Lindsay would want to comment on that.
Sure. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you, sir, for the question. If I could begin by just saying, I really, really like that the topic of rail safety is as prominent as it is right now in this jurisdiction. It's something that we get up every day thinking about, and the public conversation about it allows us to reinforce some of the key messages that we need out there, because the Premier's right. We move 300,000 people a day, and that's independent of what the TTC does. A ton of people move on rails in this city, and I would just ask everybody who is watching this press conference to consult, whether it's Operation Lifesaver or other sources of information about staying safe on railways, all of the great videos that they do. In this particular instance, Metrolinx standard track inspection, a geometry car, caught an increasingly widening gauge. It's not very uncommon, for what it's worth, on railroads. Ask freight rail partners or other transit agencies. And yes, unfortunately, there was a service implication. It took a couple of hours for us to resume UpX service, but safety comes first. And to your question, sir, I promise you, we hold our third-party operators and maintainers. These weren't consultants in this case. This was a third-party firm that does maintenance for us on the Pearson subdivision to account for their processes. And we've already had those conversations about how we learn even from a potential near miss like this, and we'll continue to do so.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Charlie Pinkerton from the Trillium. Premier Ford, my questions are for you. The first one is just if your government would be willing to follow the lead of Manitoba with respect to surveillance pricing on food products. Is this something that your government would be open to banning here in Ontario?
No. I believe in a capitalist society, free market. The market dictates. If ABC grocery store wants to compete against the other one, that's what the true driver is. Free and fair competition, and let the market dictate on the food prices.
So you're okay with grocery stores charging people, surge prices on things like potatoes and basic food items? Is that what I'm gathering?
No, you're trying to, Charlie, I don't know why you try to put words in my mouth. I did not say that. I said let the market dictate. There's no better way of letting people get lower costs on no matter if it's cars or homes or groceries than competition. That is what we believe in. That's a capitalist society, a market. The other one is socialism. Socialism does not work. You go around and dictating and overseeing every single price. No, if there's collusion on pricing, I'll go after them and tear them to shreds. But nothing beats free market.
Hi, good morning, Premier. It's Colin DeMello from Global News. I wanted to ask about the 150 people who have been accidentally released from jails in Ontario since 2021. Your your Solicitor General had said that he's going to get down to the bottom of it. You said you're going to get down to the bottom of it. But about a year and a half ago, the Solicitor General actually received a briefing note in which it laid out all of these numbers. And since he received that briefing note, there were an additional 39 people who were accidentally released from provincial jails. How is it acceptable to you that now, a year and a half after being informed, the Solicitor General is only now looking to get to the bottom of it?
Colin, one person getting out, I have one word for this, totally unacceptable, 2 words, unacceptable. And we're going to get there. I can tell you, they had to pull me off the ceiling when I heard this. We're going to find out what happened. We're going to go to root cause, and we're going to make sure not one single inmate, not one, gets out that door. And it happened in the courts, I understand as well. But how do you get people mixed up? Like, you got to be kidding me. It's ridiculous. Anyways, I am on this like no tomorrow. How do you let these people out? It's ridiculous, unacceptable, and I'm going to be all over it. I am all over it right now. I can assure you 1,000% since I heard this story the other day.
The question, though, is how is it acceptable that your minister, the Solicitor General responsible for the entire jail system, has known about this for a year and a half and is only now getting down to the bottom of it? How is that acceptable for a minister of the Crown?
Colin, I can tell you, Michael Kersner is doing an incredible job. I told him it's unacceptable. The deputy ministers who's in charge of correctional services, there has to be. I'm getting down to root cause, and we aren't going to let one more person slip out of the door. It's unheard of, and I'm absolutely furious over it, to be honest with you.
Hi, Andy Takagi with the Toronto Star. We have a TTC report detailing concerns that Bill 98 could allow the minister to set fares, take revenue, and set service levels for the TTC and affect its budget. To the Premier and to the Minister, why take over the TTC's main financial power? And to the Mayor, are you concerned about this?
Go ahead.
Bill 98, to be very clear, is an advancement of the One Fare program. We've seen over 72 million people have free transfers last year, $1,600 saved back into the pockets. We've seen, when we've done surveys, the last one I saw, over 37% more people are more likely to take public transit because of One Fare. This is about making sure transit agencies are speaking to each other, they're talking to each other, and we're encouraging more of a seamless journey for transit users across the province. And like we've said from the start, it's about a consultation process. We're going to work with everyone. We're going to make transit more affordable, accessible. Today, we're marking a significant milestone in the start of tunneling for the Ontario line. We're building a world-class system, and we need a system that's more integrated, that talks to each other. But that being said, whether it's the TTC, whether it's York Region Transit, or any of our transit agencies, we're going to consult with them. We're going to work with them. And just like we did on One Fare, which has been an unbelievable success, not only for transit users and agencies, but for all that interact with it, we're going to have something that is truly transformational come out of it. But it will be a very consultative process, but one that looks at working together with all transit agencies.
Oh, go ahead, Mayor.
The One Fare program save ordinary folks hundreds of dollars because they don't have to pay again. It's easy as whether you're taking GO train and transit into TTC system, collaboration, seamless transition, saving money. That's a good thing. We will continue to collaborate and work together with the Metrolinx, with the Ontario government, with a very clear principle. Let's work together because that will always make us stronger. Number two, make fares affordable. Let's not see it going up, and make it as seamless as possible so that all of the different system, whether it's subway, GO train, or streetcars, rapid transit, all of it interconnected. That is our aim.
You know what increases ridership, and I know the mayor's doing an incredible job working on this every single day, are two things: cleanliness and safety. That's how you get people riding more transit. Have the cleanest subway system in the world and the safest. And I know the mayor's working extremely hard on that.
But the powers in this bill seem to give the province a lot more power beyond just harmonizing fares. It could take revenue from the TTC and redistribute it. Is this...
No, we aren't going to be doing that.
Are you thinking about possibly reviving your idea of taking over the TTC?
No. Folks, let me tell you something. The mayor and I have an incredible relationship. We agree, we'll disagree, but we all have the same common cause, and that's to make the city of Toronto and Ontario a better place to live. And I know the federal government feels the exact same way. We're fortunate to have Minister Solomon here today. He's a real crackerjack. He's going to get things moving on the tech side as well, and other areas that he's responsible for. It's about working together. And we're in a very competitive market right now worldwide. And we have to move, and we have to move faster, quicker, immediate on everything we do. Just move. and build and don't stop. Don't look backwards. Keep going forwards. Never stop.
Isaac Callan, Global News. My question's for the Transport Minister and then hopefully for the Mayor as well. We've seen cities in North America charging additional costs for their World Cup travel tickets. Boston, New York, both making train tickets about $100. They're normally commuter. If either Metrolinx or the TTC considered raising fares on World Cup match days, or if not, can you rule it out?
Metrolinx, absolutely not. In fact, Michael and his team have been working extensively, and Nick, with how we can increase service and make that journey more seamless, integrating schedules, and I know working with other transit agencies across the province as well. So absolutely not increasing fares. In fact, we're going to increase services to accommodate for the number of individuals that will be in the city, and also make it that much easier to use public transit, whether it's Up Express or our Lakeshore lines as well.
Transit needs to remain affordable. No fare increase. There's no fare increase 3 years running under my watch. And yes, a lot of integration between GO and TDC, because you want to make it simple as people, the world coming to the city for a World Cup. We wanted that they could take transit, public transit. And so we're doing integration. We are working together, collaborating, and I'm sure there will be other announcements as the game approaches. And we're almost there.
And for the Transport Minister again, and possibly Michael Lindsay, we're seeing 15-minute service return on Lakeshore East, but we're still not seeing express service on that line. Can you give us an idea of when that's returning and what the holdup is?
Well, I'll ask Michael to work with us. We continuously work on expansions of services across our network. We've got a lot of construction happening on our networks as well. And the other part of it is also working with some of our rail partners on different parts of the line. But Michael, maybe I'll ask you to expand upon that.
Thank you for the question. It's actually very topical. The reason there is no Lakeshore East Express service right now is because there is another massive multimodal hub that caters to the Ontario line called East Harbour, which is being built right now, almost where these tunnel boring machines will wind up. That is going to be a massive at-level opportunity for transit riders of the future to switch between GO and the TTC, relieving congestion on Union Station. And unfortunately, geography and geometry are just what they are. We had to take the third track out of service in order to build that massive station. As soon as we reach the right moment in construction where we can reinstate the third track, then we have the ability to shoot the express past the local. So it's another opportunity for me to draw attention to the fact that as we build and try to provide service at the same time, there are of course going to be choices about disruption. I wouldn't say that it's delayed in coming back. I would simply offer a thanks to those who understand that their express option isn't available to them right now as we build this transit network of the future.
Hi, Catherine Manny with the Canadian Press. For Premier Ford, I'm wondering, with your plan to designate Billy Bishop Airport as a special economic zone, can you tell us what provincial or municipal laws you plan to suspend?
Well, what we want to do is build an economic zone. It's a crown jewel. We want to make sure we have competitive market against Pearson as well. It's about convenience. And I know that people want it. Like, we pull this coming out of my ears. It's 70% all the time. People want it. Now, we're going to make sure it's safe by extending the runways as well. But that's what we want to do, is focus on the economic driver for the city of Toronto.
Right, and maybe for Mayor Chow, I'm wondering, can you tell us, have you had any conversations with Premier Ford about the airport expansion? And to that point, you know, what concerns have you heard from Torontonians about the province's plans for the waterfront?
We love our city waterfront. It's a beautiful place to be. And whether it's tourists or local residents or people all across Ontario and Toronto, they love the waterfront. No, I have not seen a plan as to exactly how the construction or the extension or the expansion would work. One thing I do know, though, is that this is construction season, and we need to extend that runway to make it safe, because for a long time, the Billy Bishop Airport runway is too short. So that's why the federal government said, the transport minister said that by July of next year, the runway needs to be expanded so that it's safe. I think that is my first priority, keeping the flight that are coming in and the passengers safe. And as to how and what in future, I wait to see a plan. Let's work together to make the waterfront as successful as possible.
So you haven't had any conversations with the Premier?
Not with detailed plan. I have not seen one yet.
Premier Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
Hi, Siobhan.
This comes from my colleagues at CTV in Ottawa. Data from the city of Ottawa shows that there's been a steady increase in speeding through school zones since speed cameras were turned off and removed. Do you still stand by that decision to remove them, even though this looks like people are indeed speeding more than they were before?
Okay, so we've already given them $4 million. This is a no-brainer. Put speed bumps in. You don't slow people down by getting a ticket 4 weeks or 6 weeks down the road. You put speed bumps in. I'll be there Monday. I'll talk to the mayor. It's not hard. And it doesn't take long. Put the speed bumps in. It's like a no-brainer. Anyways.
This will be the last reporter.
Yes.
Thanks for taking all our
Save the best to last. Richard, how are you?
Thank you very much. Thanks for taking our questions, sir. Okay. I know you mentioned you're pro free market, but the grocery store, but a lot of Ontarians are really struggling at the grocery store. It's $100 for a few items now. It's crazy.
I agree. Believe me, I go grocery shopping, folks, and the prices are through the roof. And do you know what causes that? Is the gas prices are super, super high right now, transporting goods. We got to buy as much as we can in bulk here in Ontario and take care of our farmers. But sorry for cutting you off.
No, not at all. The mayor and her council colleagues came up with one idea to try and mitigate this, and that's city-run grocery stores in some low-income areas. Premier, do you think it's time for some Ontario-run grocery stores so people can afford the essentials?
Okay, I love the mayor, okay? But this is the craziest idea I've ever heard. These grocery stores can make, and these are experts. These are the Costco's, the Walmarts, the Loblaws. They make 2 to 3%. You know, food banks, yeah, by all means, support the food banks. But we can't have city-run grocery stores. But that's up to the mayor. If she wants city-run grocery stores, you'd be subsidizing it huge, because it's crazy. That's socialism. I love you, Mayor. Okay.
Last question. We'll bring it back to today's announcement. The station renderings you're showing off today, they're just like low-rise stations. Amid a housing crunch in Ontario, Premier, why are you not planning on building housing above these stations?
They should be. Yeah, they are. They're building the TOCs, 100%. Build on top of the transit stations. That's the way everyone in the world's doing it. And that's the way we're doing it. And Todd's overseeing the transit-oriented communities, doing a great job. Yeah, and we'll see, take it from there. When's Kinga coming back? Are you taking babysitting duties and the mayor, you can babysit while she's coming back? Anyways, folks, you know something, this is a great day. We are so blessed to live in the greatest country, the greatest province, one of the greatest cities anywhere in the world. We work together, we collaborate together. We may agree, disagree, whatever, but we all come out united. And when I travel around and I talk to consul generals, ambassadors around the world, and I know Evan does the same thing. You know, I always say around the world, 6 degrees of separation. In Ontario, it's 1 degree of separation. You pick up the phone and you get your problem solved. Thank you to our partners, and may God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much, everyone.